The Lagos Blue Line Metro recently celebrated 2 years of operations in September 2025. This gave me an amazing opportunity to report on the progress so far and how the infrastructure has fared over the last 2 years of operations. I'll walk you through every single station on the Lagos Blue Line, exposing you to the good, the bad, and things that definitely need improvement. Then we'll journey along the ongoing Lagos Blue Line extension that would add 14 extra kilometers to the existing 13 kilometers, as well as 6 new amazing train stations. You'll get to see construction progress firsthand. This is the most comprehensive video you'll watch on YouTube about the Lagos Blue Line. That's why you need to sit back and relax, because you're about to rethink all you thought you knew about the Lagos Blue Line and the Lagos Transport Master Plan. Welcome to the Marina station, one of the most interesting and perhaps the most popular station on the Lagos Blue Line. Odds are the first pictures you saw of this blue line would have been at this station. Marina is the entryway to the island, quote unquote, and it holds significance on this line now and into the future, because the proposed Lagos Green Line connecting Ekpe to Marina will terminate at this station one day. Let's see what it looks like on the inside. The Marina section of the blue line is elevated, so naturally the station itself would be elevated. There are 2 ways to access the station, but when I visited, ongoing construction meant that only this main entrance was in use. I don't believe there's much to say about the design. It's very clean, it's minimalist, and it does the job of getting you into the station and onto your train as seamlessly and honestly quickly as possible. It's mainly just get in and get on your train. The Marina station has one main floor that connects to the platform above it. On this main floor, there are 2 distinct sections with bathrooms on either side. This bathroom is the one you would see when you descend from the platform, and for the most part it was neat. It wasn't the flashiest, the water ran, didn't smell awfully bad. It's well maintained as best as they can, considering that it's a public toilet and people are coming in and out frequently. And I also visited during rush hour on an important day. Another factor of the design of not just the Marina station is accessibility. Accessibility is essential to ensuring that any piece of public infrastructure is used to its fullest potential. There are a handful of elevators and escalators to ensure that everybody gets on and off their train. There's an accessibility elevator that connects from the platform down to street level, and there are also escalators that take you from the platform down to the main hall and from the main hall down to street level. If you are currently enjoying the video, you should definitely like and then subscribe to the channel, because there are more videos like this on the channel and more in the works. At the time of recording, the Lagos Blue Line had been in operation for just 2 years, but the Marina station, which is unofficially the main station on this line for now, has a couple stores, or has had a couple stores over the years. My first time using this station in October 2024, there was a store, Koyo, if I'm correct, that we bought food from, and the next time I came, they had closed down. I thought it was temporary, but subsequent times I've been here, it has been closed. I visited the on-site speed crane. My favorite feature about the Marina station is that it doesn't stand out. It's not an eyesore. Some pieces of infrastructure, they just look very different from the surrounding, but the Marina station looks very beautiful, and the views from the station of the Lagos Lagoon is second to none. While my least favorite feature is the fact that during rush hours, you would have to climb through lots of staircases because the escalators might be too slow or too packed. But that being said, these issues are not really issues, in my opinion. As mentioned earlier, the Lagos Blue Line, or any metro line for that matter, has been a long time coming, and seeing it actually being used for the last 3 years is an experience that I'm sure millions of Lagosians would not take for granted. Every dime spent on public infrastructure is money well spent. Car centricity never works. It never works. You need multiple transport options for people. If Lagos has a good enough metro line, people will definitely drop their cars at home during rush hours, because they know that they'll get there faster using the train. So we are on the right track. I believe so. The Lagos Blue Line was a long-term commit. It was literally in the works for decades. But when it finally launched, it was what the entire city needed, wanted, and should have had for a long time. It's one of those things where it's better late than never. My favorite feature about this particular station is that it just feels at home in Marina. It's new, but it doesn't feel out of place. But it also feels like an intentional move forward. My least favorite feature about this station was the last time I visited, I wanted to use the bathroom, but mostly for content reasons. But then the lady at the front kept telling us that water wasn't running, and then it was like, wow, water not running at such an important and new-ish piece of infrastructure. So I hope the water issues have been solved. As we all know, car centricity does not work long term. Lagos has one of the worst traffic congestion problems, and lines like this are doing a lot to make the quality of life better for millions across the city. Let's head to the next station. Welcome to the amazing National Arts Theatre. The National Theatre has its own station on the Lagos Red Line. Considering the place that this arts theatre holds in my heart, this is my favorite station just because of that. Once you arrive at the station, you can easily gain access to the National Theatre premises and vice versa. So if you want to enter a train from here, you need to go through the premises of the National Arts Theatre. Enough talk, let's go into the station. As expected, the National Theatre station is elevated, so you enter through the ground floor, go through security, top up your card if you need to, and then use the staircases or escalators to travel a couple meters up. It's quite steep and it feels like some of the metro stations you'd see underground, but this is quite the opposite. Above ground. Once again, there's nothing to say about this station itself. It gets the job done. Nothing flashy about it, but it's very neat and straight to the point. Next up, let's check out the bathroom. This station has been in use for around 2 years, but the bathrooms have taken a significant beating. I noticed that the water running from the tap itself wasn't clean, and it's not hard to figure out why. The National Theatre is surrounded by the Lagos Lagoon on multiple fronts, so the water coming out of the ground would probably not be the cleanest. More efforts could have been done to process the water to ensure that it's better. But that being said, this is what the bathroom looks like. Not the best in my opinion. The easiest way for you to support the channel and the work we're doing over here is by subscribing, turning on the post notification, and liking this video. The designers did a good enough job considering that they have to build around existing infrastructure. So once you get into the station, there are ramps for people who have physical limitations. There are escalators and accessible elevators that can take you from the ground floor, that's the main hall, directly to the platform. And once you get to the platform itself, you have to know where your train is coming from, because if you get to the wrong platform, you need to go back down and come back up. Nobody wants to do that. Finally, let's talk about the on-site stores and the general ambience of the station. I could not find any businesses or stores operating at the National Theatre station as at the last time I visited, which was in September 2025. So there isn't much or anything for that matter to say about that. But considering the ambience, this station is smack dab between a major cultural landmark and a significant industrial area. It definitely felt like the best of both worlds. You should try to experience this yourself. The National Arts Theatre has to be my favorite building in the entire country because it's just so iconic. It's not every day you get to see amazing pieces of infrastructure like this, and the National Arts Theatre is one of the buildings that whenever you see it, you'd have to just take a step back and look at it again, whether it's your first time or your 100th time. I'm happy that after years of dilapidation, the National Arts Theatre was recently renovated and revived. But unfortunately, not much has been happening since the revival. I want this to be a major point for shows, events, every weekend, so people can get to experience the joys that the National Arts Theatre brings. When I got down from my train and I wanted to take videos from the National Theatre itself of the train station, I walked around a bit and it was so peaceful. Oh my. The people that designed it and renovated it really did an amazing job. I walked around. There was a small lagoon within the premises. It was green, it was amazing. It was what we lack in Lagos. Essentially, it felt like a public park to me. I walked around for a couple minutes and I felt so at peace. And I like the fact that the terminal design doesn't take away from the National Theatre. It wasn't built to be like the new edifice. It complements the National Theatre without being too out there. Sometimes design isn't about making it flashy. Design is about making it work for the environment. And I feel like the National Theatre station works well considering where it's located. One of the most exciting things about the Lagos Blue Line is the fact that since its launch in 2023, the travel time has significantly reduced. When it first launched, it was around 25 minutes. I understand that the operators were still getting used to the system. They were still testing the lines, easing into it. After a couple months, it was reduced in 2024 to 18 minutes, so 18 minutes each way, which meant that there was a train going each direction every 18 minutes. And most recently, as of August 2025, travel time had reduced to 10 minutes during rush hour. I must point out the fact that the section between the National Theatre and Iganmu, where the train track elevates, is perhaps one of the worst in terms of views. There is a major trash site just outside, and it does a great disservice to the entire ambience and vibe of this line. Whenever I travel, I try to sit down on the other side so I don't see it, because I don't want to believe that that's the reality. But unfortunately, that is the reality. Too much trash. Welcome to the third station on the Lagos Blue Line. The Iganmu station is one of my favorite stations in terms of the physical architecture from the outside. The last time I visited, and the first time I actually came out of this station, because I actually just transit through it, the sky was so blue, the weather was perfect, and the building essentially glistened in the lights. It doesn't really get better than that. I was in awe, and I'm sure when you visit, you also see what I saw if the weather cooperates with you. You need to access the train station via one of two pedestrian bridges, because it closer to the ground, or essentially on the ground. You just have to go up a bit, cross the road, and you are at the station. The design here is not bad. It's straight to the point, it's nice, and it's an embodiment of the design language that has been implemented throughout most of the other stations, especially those on the mainland. There's nothing much to say about it, to be honest. That's a good thing when it comes to public infrastructure. It simply does the job. The bathroom at the Iganmu Blue Line station works. The toilets work, the water runs, and everything works as they should. But for some reason, or for the same reason I mentioned at the National Theatre, the physical features here just look very worn out. They look like they've been here longer than 2 years, and Lagos residents have really put them to the test. I don't know if there are plans to upgrade or change some of the features here, but it would really help the overall experience if that's done, hopefully sooner than later. Talking about accessibility, the Iganmu Blue Line station is fairly accessible. There is an accessible elevator that connects the platform to the main terminal hall, and there are a couple escalators within the station itself. The pedestrian bridges that serve as the main or primary entryway to this station and most others features ramps where people can be pushed on wheelchairs. It fulfills the accessibility criteria and does it well, in my opinion. Every station on the Lagos Blue Line features spaces for future stores, but I only found stores at the beginning and end, which makes a lot of sense. Most people are traveling end to end. It's not a very long line. Fewer people are using the stations between Marina and Nautu. Unfortunately, I did not find any store or business operating within the terminal the last time I used it. Hopefully in the future, there will be enough demand to make it a wise business venture to set up something within the Iganmu station. The Iganmu station is the first station on the mainland, as mentioned a few moments ago, and this is where we get to see the first iteration of the design language. Most of the stations that are currently built or being built look kind of like this station at Iganmu. From certain angles, to me, it looks like a spaceship, but that's just me. Unlike the stations at Marina and the National Theatre, you get to access Iganmu station through a pedestrian bridge. It's in the middle of the road, so you would walk up the pedestrian bridge from either side of the road and then access the terminal through that. The longer the video goes, you get to see that this is not the exception, it's actually the norm for stations on the mainland. Growing up, I used to think building a rail line was just laying the track and everything also worked, but you look at stations like this and you see how much effort was put in for accessibility, for usability, and everything else. It makes a lot of sense, and I feel like the people behind it did an amazing job considering the fact that they had to work around existing infrastructure. I believe the Iganmu station is well designed and well executed, and the fact that there isn't much to say about it says everything we need to know about it. Infrastructure pieces do not always have to be the flashiest, but once it gets the job done, people never talk about it because there's nothing to talk about. It's a non-issue. And I believe Iganmu does that very well, excelling without being the center of attraction. Welcome to the mainland. The Lagos Blue Line was designed and built to ease congestion on this important transport corridor. Iganmu is the first station that's properly on the mainland, and if you use the service during rush hour, you would notice differences in trip generation and destination. There's no reason for you to hoard a good thing. If you feel like this video is gonna be of value to anybody in your network, why don't you share it now on WhatsApp, social media, and to the people you want to share in the joy of this video with. Early in the morning, most trains from the mainland to the island are filled, while those from the island to the mainland are empty. And in the evening, when people are coming back from work, it's the other way around. Unlike the stations in Marina and National Theatre, where you need to go through the terminal before accessing the terminal itself, now it's the other way around. You would access through pedestrian bridges. There isn't much to say about this station other than it gets the job done, it's neat, it's well designed. But the bathrooms have shown that maybe the builders didn't future-proof this station alongside others, because Nigerians have been showing it here again. In just 2 years, look at how much it has degraded. Just building is not enough. We are now at the Alaba Suru terminal, the second terminal on the mainland. The Alaba Suru station is the first station in this video to feature two separate terminals. This is also the case in Mautu. This means you can access the station from either terminal and still get to the same platform when going through the entry process. It makes a lot of sense, and I say that the people behind this project are really planning for the future. Having two terminals at this station might seem a bit excessive now, but it makes us 10-20 years from now. Now that we are inside the Alaba Suru terminal proper, it's worth keeping in mind that I shot footage from both terminals in this station, but I forgot which is which, or I didn't note it. So you are seeing footage from both terminals. The design isn't much different from what is available in Iganmu on most other stations. There is a standardized design language that makes sense and gets the job done, in my opinion. Nothing much to talk about. Time to head on to the bathroom. I understand that at this point I might be sounding like a bit of a broken record, but the bathroom here is pretty much the same to the bathrooms that we've seen at most other stations. They are really worn out, considering that they've only been in use for 2 years. And at this Alaba Suru station, I went into the bathroom in one of the terminals and I met a surprising and unwelcome gift. It shocked me and I stopped opening the actual stores at other stations. On the topic of accessibility, it's similar to other stations. Nothing new, nothing different, just the placement. One of the stations has an accessibility elevator, while the other has just escalators. So if you use this service frequently and you have physical limitations, it will be in your best interest to know which of them actually has the accessibility elevator so you can enter through that one. As mentioned earlier, the design is standard. The facilities are the same as you've seen in other stations. It's just that the design is a bit different to accommodate for existing infrastructure and physical realities. When I visited Alaba Suru station, one of the terminals had what looked like a metro, but it wasn't operational. It had the branding, it had the shelves and everything, but there were no products, nobody, and it seemed a little dirty, like it had been abandoned for a while. So I don't know if MedPlus were in the process of setting up, or they had set up and they weren't doing well, but there were no other stores in any of the terminals at this station. Shout out to MedPlus for always being active on this line. What do you know about Alaba Suru? Alaba Suru is one of the most interesting and honestly misunderstood parts of Lagos. The fact that this station is one of only two with multiple buildings or terminals means that the builders were able to identify this location as one of the prime growth engines for the future. If you know anything about Alaba Suru, you would understand and agree that this area needs this type of connectivity now and well into the future. Unfortunately, while reviewing the bathroom, I met an unwanted and unwelcome gift in one of the toilet stores, and I stopped opening does in other terminals. Alaba Suru is the 4th station so far in this video, so that means we are almost at the last completed station. But when we get to this station, I'm going to take you on a journey through some of the expansion stations currently under construction. But with that in mind, there's a sense of success I feel whenever I travel across this line. If you'd like to support the work we're doing here financially, consider joining the channel as a member. It's surprisingly cheap to support the channel monthly. Alternatively, you can leave a one-time support through a super gift. It just makes me feel like, honest to God, things may not really be that great right now, but they can always get better. 13 kilometers isn't much in the grand scheme of things. I'm not a town planner, but Lagos needs hundreds of kilometers worth of metro, but 13 is a good start, and this 13 kilometers so far has changed life. Whenever I travel through the service during rush hour, I often see traffic from the train, and I'm like, God, a couple months ago that was me slugging it out with everybody else, but now I'm gonna be in mile 2 within minutes. To me, the true measure of success for public infrastructure project is how much it impacts and changes the lives of users. The Lagos Blue Line has been impactful so far and changed lives. Welcome to the amazing Mile 2 station in Mile 2. This is the second station with 2 terminals in this video, and for now it's the starting and end point of the Lagos Blue Line, but that will not be the case for too long because the Blue Line expansion is currently in progress as we speak. I'm a big fan of the design of the terminals and the general station. They look well put together and kind of like a sci-fi spaceship to me. Enough about the exterior. I'm sure you might have noticed by now, but the way the lighting is set up within these terminals or stations is optimized for people using it. But when you bring out a phone or a camera, it's not optimized for good cinematic lighting. When I visited during the anniversary, almost as soon as I came, they started sharing takeaway packs, and each nylon had a couple things, either mini indomie table and a pen. Different nylons had different things. It was very random but well appreciated. I got a pack, but I forgot to make a video of it. At this point, I'm tired of talking about the bathroom because I'm going to say the same thing that I've said multiple times so far, but this video wouldn't be as thorough and complete without me saying it. I visited the bathroom in one of the terminals at this station, and here's what it looks like. Nothing out of the ordinary. It's what you've seen multiple times so far in the video. It gets the job done, but it feels and looks very dated considering that it's been in use for exactly 2 years at the time of recording. Accessibility at the Mile 2 station starts before you get to the station itself. There are pedestrian bridges on either side of the road with ramps that people with physical limitations, especially those in wheelchairs, can use to get to the station itself. And there are accessible elevators, or there is an accessible elevator in one of the terminals while the other has only escalators. It's pretty much the same as other stations like Iganmu and Alaba. One of the terminals at the Mile 2 station features a store. Without even telling you or showing you, I'm sure you could have guessed that it's a certain pharmacy company. If you're still watching this video, then you definitely find value in it. Why don't you leave a comment telling me what you loved or hated about the video, or perhaps correcting me on something. I'm really happy that this company seems to have gone all in on supporting and doing business on the Lagos Blue Line. I don't know if it makes much financial sense right now, but the fact that a company is willing to put in this much effort shows me that maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but there will be financially viable business operations in these stations sooner than later. With that in mind, let's move on. I shot a large chunk of this video on the 4th of September 2025, which was also the 2nd anniversary of the Lagos Blue Line. While I was waiting for my train around 4 p.m. ish, a lot of commotion started happening in the Mile 2 station, and I saw lots of packs come out from back rooms, kind of the type you see at parties. They were sharing it, and then I got a nylon. It was nice to see that the effort was made, and these treats were given to all passengers as they were about to board or disembarking from their trains. Mile 2 station is the 2nd station on this line with multiple buildings or terminals, and it makes a lot of sense. For now, it's the start and end point for mainland travelers, but in a few months or years, this will just be one of the multiple on the Lagos Blue Line. With that being said, let's look at the current progress on the Lagos Blue Line expansion. Multiple train stations are currently being built from Festac all the way down to Okokomaiko, and I was able to go there a couple weeks ago and get real-time feedback just for you. As at the last time I visited the Lagos Blue Line extension site, the Festac station showed significant progress. It wasn't the most complete, but most of the shell of the structure itself was already there, and grading was being done for where the actual rail line will run. When compared to other stations on this line, I would say that Festac is one of the most developed, or was one of the most developed towards the end of June when I last visited. I wonder what it looks like in September 2025. Beyond the Mile 2 train station, the next train station that's currently under construction is the Festac Blue Line station. There is a small river between both stations that a bridge will need to be built over, but apart from that, the journey and the route is considerably flat. According to the Lagos State government, the expected delivery date is sometime in 2027, but I've heard chatter about 2026 Q4. The first time I came across the elevated section between Festac and Alakija stations, I wonder why this was the case. I first thought it was because of issues with the soil. Perhaps the soil wasn't strong enough. Then I did more research and learned that the bridge is essentially a compromise to ensure that people are still able to drive around where the rail is going to pass through. Similar to Festac, there was significant progress at the Alakija station the last time I visited. I'm sure Alakija residents would love this station. There are two elevated sections on the Lagos Blue Line extension. The first is between the Festac Blue Line station and Alakija station. I did some research, and the elevation is to allow normal operations for the existing infrastructure, that's the roads. So people don't have to cross the rail track when trying to get to the other side of the road. It goes without saying that the Alakija station is poised to ease traffic on this important section. Trade fair market is not a market that needs any introduction. It's very important in not just Nigeria, but within the West African ecosystem. It's not hard to see traders from other neighboring countries coming to buy and sell their products at trade fair. It's no surprise that trade fair is going to get its own blue line station, potentially making it easier for more customers to visit and do business here. I consider the progress to be significant as at the last time I was here. What do you know about the trade fair international market? I grew up learning about it a lot, and because I didn't live too far from here, I had a couple classmates whose parents actually did business here. But what do you know about trade fair? Let me know in the comment section. The good, the bad, and the stereotypical. The Lagos Blue Line is currently 13 kilometers long, but at the end of the extension, it will be 27 kilometers long and move from just 5 stations to 11 stations. The Volkswagen station was perhaps the least developed as of the last time I was here. There was active work going on here and across most other stations, but this was one of the least developed. I wonder what it would look like now a couple months later. With that being said, there's no denying the quality of work. I saw the process and the quality of materials being used, and I must attest to the fact that these guys are delivering international standard on this project. I can't wait for the day that service commences. Volkswagen station is a remnant of a time where our country used to be more industrial. I wondered why it was called Volkswagen, and I asked my dad, who is older, and he told me about the assembly plants that used to be here by the Volkswagen company, and I felt sad learning about it. Most of the Blue Line extension clips here were shot in late June 2025, but if this video does well and enough viewers ask for it, I'll go back in October and let you know what the progress has been like over the last 4 months. The second elevated section on the Blue Line expansion is between Volks and Lasso, and similar to the first one between Festac and Alakija. I did not understand why this was the case, but I get it now. Elevation is oftentimes not as a result of physical barriers, it's because of human factors. I visited the train stations on this line twice in 2 weeks, and the progress I saw at this last zone station was incredible. I almost did not recognize it while I was there. Building a train station primarily for students' use is a great touch. The distance between Volks and the last station, that's Okokomaiko, isn't really that much, and under normal circumstances, there won't be a train station here. But having the last two train stations just for students is an amazing touch, and I have to give it to everybody involved in this project. Now, it's theoretically going to be possible for a student living in Lagos Island to get on the train in the morning, get to LASU within 30 minutes, have their class, get on the train back, and get back to Lagos Island within 30 minutes. A journey that could have taken hours during rush hour now can take 30 minutes in comfort and style. On my first visit to the Okoko Blue Line station, not only did I see progress, but I saw lots of workers that were working on it. There was also security, like armed police, for some reason. I can only expect that in the last few months, the progress has increased and the station looks significantly different from what you are seeing here right now. It is the final station in phase 2, but according to plans, it is not going to be the final station on this line for too long. Okokomaiko station is the last station currently being built in this phase 2 of the Lagos Blue Line. This would make it 27 kilometers from Okoko to Marina station. I hope that there are future plans to extend this line towards Badagry and possibly the semi-border. I know it's improbable right now, but a man can dream. It goes without saying that the Lagos Blue Line is changing lives. One station, one passenger, and one trip at a time. We are now at the end of this amazing video, one of my longest videos to date. I hope you enjoyed watching it as much as I enjoyed making it. You can find more videos like this on the channel. Why don't you click the video on screen right now, because I made it specifically just for you. Until the next video, your friend from the Okoro YouTube channel wishes you love, peace, and prosperity.